The southeast geopolitical zone of Nigeria is one of the most volatile regions in the country, suffering from acts of terrorism from non-state actors and other sundry criminals masquerading as ethnic or regional agitators. Over the years, these criminal elements have been making life unbearable, if not totally brutish, to their perceived enemies and by extension the ordinary people in the southeast region. As electoral umpire prepares to hold the country's general elections in February 2023, tension is mounting amongst voters as IPOB and ESN terror groups continue to perpetrate crimes in the region, killing and maiming unsuspected officials in the line of duty.
Olu office was attacked. The Isu office was attacked. The police have given us their word. We had an ISS meeting a week before Christmas.
People in the southeast are almost under occupation by the non-state actors, selecting, attacking and killing randomly security operatives and government officials. In other instances, they deploy criminalities such as rape, kidnap, murder, threat, intimidation and other forms of torture.
You are afraid to come out and move about, lest one hoodlum or the other will harm you.
These and many others are factors that may have put the 2023 general election in a state of uncertainty. Just as some Nigerians are beginning to conclude that the country's military and other joint security forces may not be able to bring these criminalities to an end. This is Olu local government area in Imo State. It is one out of many communities that have suffered severe attacks. It is here that an office of INEC was burned down by suspected IPOB fighters, also called ESN. Residents of this neighborhood no longer feel secure as they remained concerned over the unchecked activities of marauding killers under the guise of separatist agitation. They also criticized the ESN sit-at-home order, a measure that is seen as a means to stamp their control and power in the region. Punishments such as killing and destruction of property were meted against the people who failed to obey the order.
It is very, very bad. I don't know whether there's any other part of eastern state or community in southeast that has been undergoing the trauma we have been undergoing since the insecurity and sit-at-home order started. Every Monday we sit at home doing nothing. All the villages, the streets, become ghost town, and you are afraid to come out and move about, lest one hoodlum or the other will harm you. The local community has nothing to do to manage the attack except self-preservation, taking care of yourself, being very careful so that nobody will harm you. As for the authorities, the government, they say they are doing something, and yet they are being accused, either wrongly or rightly, for masterminding the attacks.
The fear of the unknown still grips the hearts of many in this community, where many people have died and numerous others are still missing.
If the hoodlums who scare us even on Mondays, every Monday, are ready, because they are claiming that they don't want the election in Imo State and the Southeast. So how can we risk our life to come out? So I think the powers that be, the government, should come and reassure us and provide proper security to convince the people that they are safe to come out and vote. But even if they come out, where are the documents you use to confirm that they are the people registered? They bring their cards, their voters' cards. Where is the document which have been burned at the INEC office? Unless they were not burned, though. So assuming they were burned, what is the use of their card? Unless they can make another provision, but I do not believe that that election, based on the fact that the materials used for it, that will be used for it, have been burned, and then you bring only a card. I don't know how authentic such election will be considered. Even the law courts will those who failed will go to court and use the incidents of that fire and destruction to make their case. Don't you think so?
The atrocities are largely attributed to the activities of IPOP and ESN, including extortion, as well as sacking of towns and villages and burning of government facilities. There is also palpable silence as the murder of several security officials continue unabated. In this community, majority of the people are forced to maintain sealed lips as they are constantly threatened against speaking to journalists. Trust TV, however, managed to speak to a 24-year-old trader in Olu town who preferred to remain unnamed.
This place is very, very dangerous. You know, like killings and the robbery and the kidnapping, everything is, getting out of hand. And nobody is talking about it, nothing. So since this year, I think the killing is excess. You have, especially youth. They killed youth, and everywhere is kidnapping, robbery, and everything. Everywhere. So you will see you see a group of men now carrying gun. Nobody will be, chasing them or looking after them. No army, no police, nothing. They will just rob, successful, go. So we've been suffering this for, let's say, 2 years now. And nothing the police, the government have been doing about that. This, I think this particular law, I haven't even seen where people are going to collect their PVC for voting. I haven't seen it. And I haven't heard go to this place or maybe go to Omona or St. Joseph and collect your PVC. I haven't heard that, and I haven't seen people. So I think to this election, this 2023 election, will be very, very tough here.
Though the emergence of former Anambra State Governor Peter Obi as Labour Party presidential candidate for the 2023 election was said to have calmed some nerves, this did not stop the attacks on communities in his home state, Anambra. Despite these challenges, the people in Ihiala local government area of Anambra State expressed determination to take part in the forthcoming polls.
It's something, it is worrisome because it's going to maybe cause a vote apathy. Because as it is right now, if you talk to one or two persons, you will now get information that a lot of them are afraid already. because of the shootings and the rest of them. So naturally, it must affect the turnout on that day. People are scared. Myself, I'm scared, because if people who have guns and the rest of them could be attacked, how about we, the helpless citizens or civilians? So everybody is scared. I'm scared also.
We are continuing looking for our own freedom. If the situation of this goes like this, go your home is not a cause. We Biafrans, we are praying that we are going to have our own country called Biafra. So, and most of the boys are annoyed because of certain things that's going on in the country, a lot of hardship, unemployment, and a lot of things. So many of us are annoyed that we are not getting it right. In as much as things is going normal, some of the agitation will close down. So, but for now, struggle continue.
Vindike, a resident of Orefite, a town in Ekusigo local government, is worried about the 2023 election. Although he believes the poll may be held in his community, he is not certain, however, that the votes will count.
Considering Nigerian factor, I don't think INEC has good history in terms of conducting fair and free election. So if you go by their antecedents, it may not be guaranteed that they will, but we also know that the reforms that are in place now, INEC is trying. We are encouraging them, and we are praying that this election will be fairer than the past. There's no guarantee because we don't know their preparedness, we don't know, but we are praying that this election will be like no other. I think just like any other community in Anambra State or Nigeria in general, our prayer is for security to improve. I think in this election in 2023, security ranks top in everybody's hopes and aspiration. So as Orifite, as a community, we would like to see improved society. We would like to have a secured environment. Just yesterday, Ihala was attacked, the police station in Ihala. And Ihala is just a stone throw from Orifite. So we are always at the edge. So 2023, definitely, we would like for security to be one of the topics that people will pay serious attention to. And whoever that is being elected will know that security has to be an area they must work on.
He still nurses what he calls years of marginalization of Igbo since the return of democratic rule.
P2B is no longer P2B. Nnamdi Kanu is no longer Nnamdi Kanu. They represent agitation of the Igbos. So whether you call it Biafra or you call it P2B or you call it doesn't matter. It underscores one thing. Igbos are fed up in Nigeria. We haven't been treated fairly. Okay? So Biafra or no Biafra, the bottom line is if you're an Igbo man, you're Biafra. If you're an Igbo man, you're P2B. So does it make a difference? No. As an Igbo man, P2B Biafra represents one thing. We are tired of marginalization of Igbos. And until something is done, Nnamdi Kanu, Biafra, IPOB, P2B will continue to manifest.
In his view, a traditional ruler, Igwe Daniel Udoji, criminals in the southeast have hijacked and are controlling the Eastern Security Network while calling on the Nigerian government to increase funding to the nation's security agencies operating in the region in order to stop the attacks.
Well, the problem with ESN is that you don't know who is ESN and who is not. It's been hijacked and infiltrated, and some criminals are claiming to be ESN when they are not. So this is a big problem. The state, the police, the army, the DSS, all of them should combine to really fish out the criminals and know who is ESN and who is not. It's a big problem. The IPOB, as it is now, is a cry for help. The IPOB people, they're not criminals, but they're just crying out for justice and help. For the government to provide level playing field for everybody. Right now, the playing field is not level. Some people have it easy, others don't have it easy. I mean, if we claim that this country belongs to all of us and we are all Nigerians, everybody should have the same opportunity. Everybody should have the same treatment.
The resurgence of this regional breakup is spearheaded by a self-acclaimed contemporary leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, now in the custody of Nigerian government. The destructive campaign in the name of Biafra has crippled socio-economic and political activities in the southeast region, with devastating consequences on businesses and the economy. A weekly sit-tight order imposed by IPOB and its so-called travelers has shut down economic activities and denies government the needed revenue to drive developmental projects. Businesses of northern interest as well as human lives are being lost on daily basis with the slightest provocation. Innocent Hausa Fulani communities living in the southeast region for ages have had their lives been cut short by marauding IPOB and ESN terrorists. In one of the incidences of escalating killings of non-indigens of the southeast, especially those of northern extraction, coordinator of the Northern Consensus Forum, Dr. Awal Abdullah Aliyu, claimed that more than 100 northerners were murdered in Southeast Zone in 1 week by the indigenous people of Biafra, an allegation denied by the Ohanese Ndibo. Again, in May 2022, IPOB terrorists were said to have murdered 14 civilians in a series of attacks in Anambra State. Among the victims were a pregnant woman as well as children. Also, the Independent National Electoral Commission has increasingly become one of the key targets of attacks in the southeast in recent times.
These are environmental issues that affect INEC's preparations ahead of the election. And I think it's mostly politicians doing this. Because the question is, the criminals, I call them criminals because that's what they are, that are claiming agitators and burning down INEC offices. What is their interest? These are clearly created by politicians because of interest. These things, I've had conversations with people in the state, and they say, anytime you hear a particular INEC office is burned, there is a politician who believes that he will not be able to win the election in that area, and for that reason, he's trying to burn down the election. And beyond that, because of the new Electoral Act 2022, the deployment of technology, the beavers, the deployment of electronic transmission of results, all of these things is a game changer in the electoral process. All of these things are developments that will ensure transparency and electoral accountability in 2023 general elections. And for these reasons, the usual guys you think that are popular in elections will or may most likely lose elections in 2023 because they are not actually popular.
Authorities at the Nigeria police say that they are making some arrests to hold the carnage. For instance, a notorious ESN IPOB operation commander was apprehended and paraded on December 28, 2022 in Imo State. According to the Imo State Police Command, he has been responsible for several incidents of unrest in the southeast, including an attack on INEC facilities in Imo State where hundreds of PVCs were discovered.
Law organization, he rose to become the operational commander and the chief trainer of the group. And he personally confessed to have trained over 100 members spread in the Eastern Zone. He further confessed to have participated and led various killings of security personnel, attacks on INEC office, burning of police stations, murder of innocent people, armed robbery, kidnapping, terrorism. And of course, he narrated how his high authority directed him to go and kill Ahmed Gulak.
The INEC office in Awka, the capital of Anambra State, came under attack on May 23, 2021, along with 3 other INEC locations over the previous 4 years on December 12, 2023. These rounds of attack were sequel to the earlier attack on the INEC headquarters in Owerri, Imo State, as well as 2 other offices belonging to the nation's electoral body.
The attack happened on December 12th, and it didn't disturb or it hasn't disturbed anything about the forthcoming elections. It's only the building that was attacked, not our materials, not our personnel. So we're ready for the election. Olu office was attacked. It had been attacked earlier, and renovation work was ongoing when it was attacked again. The work hasn't stopped. The office will be fixed, so nothing concerning materials was removed from the office. It's just the building. That was ongoing renovation. Renovation was ongoing in. The ISU office was attacked. The windows were broken. No materials were removed. No PVCs were removed. The police have given us their word. We had an ISS meeting a week before Christmas, and they've given us their word. The DSS was at the meeting. The military was there. The NDLEA, all the agencies that make up ISS. ISS means Interconsultative Committee on Election Security. So all the agencies that make them up were at the meeting, and they've given us their word. INEC is only an election management body, not a security agency. So the police, the DSS, and all the security paraphernalia, they've given us their word, and we believe that with what they've said, the election will go smoothly.
Majority of the communities in the Southeast suffering from the attacks are crying for help, especially as the nation heads to the poll.
The 2023 election, I think it will be negatively affected unless there is peace and security, because many people will not be able or willing to go out and vote. So that it's very, very important that security will be secured so that people will feel safe and confident going to vote. They will feel reassured that they won't be attacked when they go to the polling stations to vote. Yeah.
Our prayer is that the federal government will provide security to be sure that people's aspiration, people's vote will be protected, so that this election will be the first election that we will consider fair. So security of the people that will go out and vote will definitely be paramount.
As the attacks persist in the Southeast region, there is a growing concern over possible voter apathy that could lead to massive low turnout